Hey everyone, welcome back. We're nearing the end of April, and believe it or not, we're still talking about snow across large parts of Canada. If you were expecting a full transition into spring, this pattern is definitely pushing back. What's driving all of this is a classic omega block setup across the country. This is a pattern where weather systems get stuck in place, and that's exactly what's happening right now. We've got a low-pressure system across the prairies, another one over Atlantic Canada, and a ridge sitting right in between. Because of this setup, everything is moving very slowly. That means ongoing snow in some regions, rain in others, and very little change day to day. The good news is that this pattern will finally start to break down as we head toward the end of the weekend, allowing warmer air to spread back across much of the country. Let's start out west in British Columbia, where conditions are actually looking quite pleasant. Temperatures are sitting well above freezing, with highs around 15 degrees in Vancouver. A strong ridge of high pressure is building in, bringing lots of sunshine and stable conditions. Through the next few days, BC will continue to enjoy dry weather, clear skies, and above normal temperatures. It's a great stretch of weather, especially compared to what's happening further east. Now shifting into the prairies, this is where things get much more active. Temperatures vary quite a bit depending on your location. Winnipeg is sitting around 12 degrees, while places like Saskatoon and Prince Albert are much colder, even dropping below freezing. This difference is due to a retrograding low-pressure system. Instead of moving west to east like most systems, this one is actually moving backward, from east to west. That's pulling colder air back into Saskatchewan and Alberta, while warmer air remains in parts of Manitoba. As a result, we're seeing widespread snowfall across central and northern parts of the prairies. This is not a light event either. Snowfall totals could reach between 30 and 50 centimeters in northern Saskatchewan and Manitoba. Parts of Alberta could also see significant snow, with totals ranging from 15 to 20 centimeters. On top of that, we're dealing with blustery conditions, which means blowing snow and reduced visibility will be a concern, especially on open roads. At the same time, areas on the warmer side of the system, like Winnipeg, are staying mostly dry for now. In fact, temperatures are warm enough there to avoid snow entirely. Instead, we're seeing a mix of rain and even some thunderstorms developing along the edge of that system. In northwestern Ontario, those non-severe thunderstorms will continue through Friday, bringing heavy rainfall at times. Some areas near the international border could pick up as much as 50 millimeters of rain, which may lead to localized flooding or water pooling on roads. Now let's take a look at northern Canada. Temperatures remain cold overall, but there are some milder spots. Whitehorse is reaching around 10 degrees, while areas like Iqaluit and Churchill are still below freezing. Snow continues to move through parts of the north as systems track along the upper flow. Moving into Ontario and Quebec, the influence of that prairie system starts to shift eastward. For much of Friday, conditions remain fairly quiet across southern Ontario and southern Quebec. Ottawa and surrounding areas will stay mostly dry during the day, while parts of southern Quebec also avoid significant precipitation early on. However, that begins to change as we head into Friday evening. The system moves in from the west, bringing rain to areas like Sault Ste. Marie and Sudbury, eventually pushing into the Greater Toronto area. Overnight into Saturday, we could see multiple rounds of rain, along with a few rumbles of thunder. These storms are not expected to be severe, but they could still bring brief heavy downpours and lightning. Rainfall totals across southern Ontario could range from about 10 to 25 millimeters. Temperatures will vary depending on location. Windsor could reach around 21 degrees, while Toronto stays much cooler near 8 degrees due to winds coming off Lake Ontario. Ottawa sits somewhere in between, around the low teens. As we move into Saturday evening, the system begins to taper off, and by Sunday, we're looking at a mix of sun and cloud returning across much of the region. Now let's head into Atlantic Canada, where another system is bringing more unsettled weather. Newfoundland will be the main focus once again. Snow is expected to move into the Avalon Peninsula late Friday evening, gradually spreading northward across the island. By Saturday, warmer air begins to mix in, changing some of that snow over to a rain-snow mix. However, snowfall totals could still be significant. Areas like St. John's may see between 15 and 20 centimeters of snow by late Sunday. Across the Maritimes, conditions are less intense but still unsettled. Expect a mix of light rain showers and flurries through Saturday, with cooler than normal temperatures continuing across the region. So the overall picture across Canada is a tale of contrasts. British Columbia is enjoying sunshine and warmth under high pressure. The prairies are dealing with heavy snow and strong winds from a slow-moving system. Ontario and Quebec are transitioning into rain and possible thunderstorms, while Atlantic Canada continues to see a mix of snow and rain. The key factor tying all of this together is that omega block pattern, keeping everything locked in place. But once it finally breaks down later this weekend, we should start to see more movement in the jet stream and a gradual return to warmer conditions across much of the country. Until then, expect continued variability depending on your region, and be prepared for rapidly changing conditions if you're traveling. That's your full forecast update. Stay safe, stay prepared, and we'll keep you updated as this pattern begins to shift.